Texas, Chen Javier Sebastian. Now introducing the starters from Colorado College. Please take the field when your name is called. Number 1, a junior goalkeeper, Kevin. Number 3, a senior midfielder, Skylar Stark Ragsdale. Number 4, a junior defender, Rory Eastland Fruit. Number 5, a senior defender, John Schuler. Number 7, a senior midfielder, Miles Montgomery. Number 8, a senior midfielder, Matthew Simons. Number 9, a senior forward, Karan Singh. Number 11, a senior midfielder, Jackson Silverstein. Number 12, a sophomore midfielder, Kevin Peterson. Number 17, a sophomore defender, Noah Johnson. Number 23, a freshman defender, Alexander Ward. The assistant coach is Tomas Martinez. Head coach of Colorado College is Scott Alfuta, Colorado College Tigers. Now the starting lineup for the Trinity University Tigers. Number 2, a senior defender from The Hague, the Netherlands, Peter Blank. Number 5, a sophomore midfielder from Euless, Texas, Chen Ajay. Number 6, a junior defender from San Antonio, Jacob Galan. Number 9, a junior midfielder from Derry, Scotland, Fraser Burns. Number 17, a sophomore defender from San Antonio, John Conneru. Number 19, a first-year defender from Dallas, Texas, Jesus Velos. Number 20, a junior midfielder from Dallas, Texas, Connor Jones. Number 21, a sophomore midfielder from Sheffield, England, Jack Downs. Number 99, a junior goalkeeper from Laredo, Texas, Juan Carlos Gonzalez. Today marks the final regular season home game for the Trinity Tigers. It's also the final regular season home game with 7 outstanding Tiger seniors. Over the last 4 seasons, the Tigers have accrued a record of 54, 11, and 6. That's over an 80% winning percentage. They've made 3 NCAA appearances and won 2 SCAC regular season championships and 2 SCAC tournament championships. So at this time, let's honor the Tiger seniors. Here we go. Number 35, a defender from Houston, Texas, Martin Mata. Number 12, a midfielder from Flower Mound, Texas, Ethan Moore. Number 15, a defender from Palo Alto, California, Neil Verwillow. Number 7, a midfielder from San Antonio, Diego Gonzalez. Number 14, a midfielder from Northampton, England, All-American Brady Johnston. The starting seniors, number 23, a forward from Houston, Texas, is Wesley Mitchell. And number 10, a captain, All-America midfielder from Ardenhout, Netherlands, Quentin Vanderlee. The Tiger seniors. The assistant coaches are Edward Carty and Michael LaHood. Head coach of the Tigers is Paul McGinley. To honor America, please rise for our national anthem. Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference action about to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Paul McGinley Field for Senior Day here for Trinity University, facing off against Colorado College in a battle for the first place spot in the SCAC. Tigers of Trinity University honoring 11 of their senior players graduating and moving on next year. Colorado College Tigers come in with a 4-1-1 record, 4-0-1 in conference, tied with Coach McGinley's Trinity side for first place in the standings. The starting lineup for Coach Scott Palguda and Colorado College includes first team All-SCAC 2019 goalkeeper Kelleher Felton, Skylar Stark Ragsdale, Rory Eastland Fruit, John Schuler, Miles Montgomery, Matthew Simons, Kieran Singh, Jackson Silverstein, Kevin Peterson, Noah Johnson, and Alexander Ward. And you see the starters for Trinity University now taking the field. Juan Carlos Vidales keeps his place in between the sticks. The defense in front of him consists of Jacob Gallant, Jesus Velos, Peter Blanc, and John Connor Rule. The midfield is Fraser Burns, Jack Downs, and senior captain Quentin Vanderlee. And the attack consists of Connor Jones, Wesley Mitchell, and the left winger escapes me at the moment, Chin Adji, getting his first start for Trinity this season. The transfer from St. Edwards will come off the left in attack today for the Tigers. He'll be wearing white shirt and socks with the maroon shorts up against Colorado College in the all gray with dark gray accents. We are all set to get underway here in the battle for first place in the SCAC. The winner of this game should secure the top seed in the SCAC tournament coming up here in a couple weeks. Trinity with just one more game following this one, 2 for Colorado College, but either way, the winner today will be in the driving seat for top seed in the tournament. Slightly earlier kickoff time today, 6 o'clock, and it is a sunny San Antonio. Temperatures up in the 90s. That'll certainly play a factor. We'll have a water break at some point in either half as we are underway. Ball sent all the way through to Vidales, who will get his first couple of touches, bring it under control. Both of these teams in strong form. As I've already mentioned, Trinity coming off a couple of home victories in which they've scored 3+ goals against St. Thomas and TLU. Here's Adji, first attack, finds the ball infield for Burns, picks up some space, lays it off for Adji, will have the shot from distance, and the Tigers strike early. The 1-2 between Adji and Burns for 1-0. Fantastic strike from Adji in the opening minute of this game, just 31 seconds gone. From outside the box to the keeper's right, too much power, nothing he could do about it. And what a fantastic start for Trinity. Looking to honor their seniors in the best way possible with a big win here at home. And once again, Colorado College kicks off, but now just 30 seconds into the game, they find themselves behind. Adji from Burns, who gets yet another assist on the season. First time Trinity have struck in the first half in the last 3 home games. Blanc gets this one under control and sends it down the line. Adji will chase, runs out of play ahead of both he and the defender from Colorado College, who will have to respond. Plenty of time to do so. They say if you're going to concede, you might as well concede with still 89 minutes to be played. But it's Trinity who looked the more likely to add to the lead. Laid off to Downs. Spread wide for Jones, his first involvement. Gallant goes beyond him. And the junior winger drops it back to Peter Blanc. Blanc long for Burns in the channel. Felton comes out to claim. He picks that one up, having already picked one up out of the back of his net today. Ball infield for captain John Schuler. First team all-conference last year, in which Colorado College went 8-1, won the regular season title. Their only loss coming against Centenary. They beat Trinity on home soil 2-1. They fell at the final hurdle to TLU in the SCAC final. And they fell to Gustavus Adolphus in the NCAA tournament after getting the at-large bid. Got a lot of experience, but they lost their 2 top scorers. And that was Sam Birmingham, who graduated, and Griffin Meyer, who transferred after a terrific freshman year in which he was named Newcomer of the Year. Moved on to Division I, University of Denver, just down the road. Burns on the ball once again, spreads it wide for Galan, who's forward from right back. Solid defending that time from Alexander Ward, the first-year left back from Portland, Oregon. And he takes the throw. Laid off back to him from Miles Montgomery, but it's turned over to Vanderlee. He's got all kinds of time, drops it back to John Connor Rule. It's back in the center of defense today after deputizing at right back last weekend. And the game finally allows us to catch our breath. Rule goes over the top. Perfectly weighted ball for Velos. We'll now try and track it down and keep it away from Colorado College. Last touch off the first-year left back behind for a goal kick. Accidentally called Jesus, his brother's name, Ozzy, a senior from last year, part of this Trinity program. Long ball this time sent over the top from Colorado College. Vidalis didn't get all of it, but he sent it out into touch as Silverstein had the run-on Rule. Silverstein off to a strong start in his senior season. He's got 2 goals, 3 assists in just the 6 games so far. Kieran Singh, who we haven't really had a chance to mention yet, the number 9 for Colorado College, leads them with 4 goals in their 6 contests. And here he is on the ball. Kieran Singh turns his defender, and they'll say he was fouled, trying to play the ball across. Dangerous free kick opportunity for Colorado College to answer back after Trinity scored in the game's opening minute. Looks like the 2 standing over will be Alexander Ward. He'll have the left foot. Miles Montgomery will be the more likely to take with the right foot, the senior from Oakland, California. It is Montgomery. Doesn't get a ton of lift on the ball, and then Vanderlee stoops low to head it clear. Silverstein tracks down the loose ball. He meanders forward down the left wing. It's cross blocked by Rule. And out for a corner for the visitors. Montgomery once again will take. Known as a bit of a dead ball specialist. This time he goes to the top of the box. And the shot came in from Peterson, but it was blocked. And the follow-up sent into touch by Schuler. Comfortable for Trinity. No real threat that time from the set piece opportunity. Couple members of the Trinity front line getting their first start of the season. Wesley Mitchell, the senior, and Chin Aji, of course, already made his impact after 30 seconds starting on the left wing. They look for him once again here, but Rule's ball is off the mark. Second ball bounced out onto the field just out of your picture. We'll pause to take care of that. And Colorado College with the ball in hand. Take the throw. It's tracked down by Burns. Burns spreads the play for Jones. Comes into the center circle. Runs into a trio of Colorado College players. The ball's in behind from Burns. Once again looking for Adji. Those two hooked up for the goal. But that time the pass overhit. Composed play from Peterson. Dropped it back to Eastland Fruit. And Colorado College play out some of the pressure. Rule steps into midfield to win it. Not once, but twice. Falls to the feet of Mitchell. And now wide for Jones. Galan's going to go on the overlap. Here is Jacob Galan down the right wing. Cuts the ball back for Downs, who's got it in the box. Lays it off for Connor Jones. The left-footed cross towards Mitchell and Adji. Just under hit. And Colorado College thought they might have had a foul in the center circle, but Rule did enough to avoid fouling Singh.
Good, next pass, guys. Next pass. Good. Left shoulder, John.
Rule with his head up now, put under pressure. And forced to commit the turnover. Looks like Stark Ragsdale up. Pressurizing the Tigers sophomore. Interesting to see that they switched Galan and Rule, who started in each other's position last week, matching up against All-American forward Luis Green. Galan told me before the game he wants to give a shout out to Abuela Galan. He's tuned in watching today. I'm sure she has been all season. Roll back to Vidales. Vidales, the SCAC Defensive Player of the Week a couple weeks ago. Galan, the current holder of that award. Mitchell, a strong hold-up play for Trinity. Lays it off for Downs. Jones now down the right wing. Goes past one. But his touch ran into Noah Johnson. Sophomore defender from Castle Rock, Colorado. Castle Rock, of course, also a show based on Stephen King novels. Really wish it would have got renewed for a third season as well. Jones, ball in his hand, takes a big throw in towards the head of Burns. Allowed to bounce in the box before it's cleared. Singh and Rule working against each other. That time, J.C. Rule comes out on top with a sliding tackle. Mitchell applying pressure from behind here. Peterson and Stark Ragsdale combined to play out of the pressure. Dropped all the way back to Eastland Fruit. Vanderlee pressing highest up the field, wins it back. The dinked ball in behind from Jones, looking for Mitchell. Colorado College again scrambles it clear as the early energy from Trinity still showing 10 minutes into this game. Of course, they scored in the opening minute. If you tuned in just a minute or so late. Jones wins it back. Ball intended for Mitchell. His touch too strong. Sent out into the Tiger bench. He thinks it wasn't actually his touch. Linesman disagrees. Galan heads that clear. Colorado College throw in front of their bench. Stark Ragsdale lays it off. And Downs fouls Alexander Ward. Another dangerous opportunity, just about 24, 25 yards from goal. Trinity will set up with two in the wall. Everyone else marking at the back post. Mitchell left forward for Trinity. Standing over the ball, Montgomery, as we've come to expect in the opening 11 minutes. Again, he dinks it in towards the back post. It's a dangerous ball that Vidales comes and claims. Johnson was closest to it for the visitors. Sure hands that time from Juan Carlos Vidales. Adji drops it back to Rule. Peter Blank. Crossfield ball is pinpoint onto the foot of Veloz, who pokes it down the line, just out of play. Looking for the run of Ajit. It's been so good for Trinity to have Peter Blank back in the lineup this season after a couple years away from the program. He started every game. He's just been a really consistent presence in that back line with Jacob Gallant and John Connor Rule rotating with another Tiger senior, Brady Johnston. Ajit able to turn his man from the throw-in. Actually, it's Mitchell down the line. Sends it towards the back post. Jones collects. Top of the box. Comes forward down the right wing. Scoops the cross out, looking for Mitchell at the back post. It's headed clear. Silverstein now with some space to move forward. And instead, he cuts it back, opting just to keep possession for Colorado College. Johnson comes wide for Ward. Give and go. Back to Ward. Intercepted by Gallant. Jones turns it over. And Blanc going to have to put out this fire, and he does. Montgomery loses out that time in the challenge. Throw in came awkwardly off the foot of Johnson. And out for a Trinity throw. Gallant hoists it forward for Mitchell. He takes a shove in the back. Wins a free kick for the Tigers. Mitchell in his career, now a senior from Houston, Texas. He's racked up 56 appearances, 31 of those starts in a Trinity uniform with 9 goals, 13 assists. He was SCAC honorable mention in 2018. And he's got a goal contribution for every appearance he's made this year. Burns, perfectly weighted ball, looking for Mitchell, just inches over his head. Tracked down by Veloz. 30 yards from goal. He goes wide now for Burns. Gets another chance to whip it into the danger area. Houghton runs all the way through. Ajit prevents the counterattack. Veloz back to Burns, who finds himself in the center back position momentarily. Ajit has it taken off his toes and put out for a throw on the far side. All the Trinity players retake their usual positions. Veloz has the ball in his hands for the throw-in. Intercepted, but tracked down by Ajit. Can't connect with Vanderlee. But Singh's pass is intercepted by Gallant. Montgomery on the ball for Colorado College. Schuler now in the center circle. Couple Trinity players around him. He drops it back, and here he is on the ball once again. Johnson. Ball forward to the feet of Singh. Peterson to Stark Ragsdale. Colorado College with some sustained possession here. 15 minutes into the game. Chance to drive into the attack for Kevin Peterson, who now spreads it wide for Montgomery. Montgomery gets to the byline, dinks it towards the back post. And there's the equalizer for Colorado College. An excellent delivery from Montgomery. Looks like it'll be the assist. Trinity's early advantage erased at the back post here. And as soon as we get the identity of the goal scorer, we will let you know. Looks like maybe an initial save by Vidalis, but we'll have to confirm that with the stats department as soon as possible. Looks like Singh given the goal. His 5th of the season assist comes from Silverstein after the cross from Montgomery. And those two have been the main offensive threat for Colorado College. They strike once again. 4th assist of the year for Silverstein, 5th goal for Kieran Singh in this game. It is knotted up at 1 apiece. Adji, goal scorer for Trinity, drives inside now. Thought about another pop from distance. Said he goes wide for Jones. Adji broke forward into the box. He wanted the return. Instead, it's crossed in by Jones. Gallant shielding it away from Montgomery. Plays it down the line for Burns. Burns with an excellent piece of footwork to go past the defender. Slipped into the path of Mitchell. Gets the ball back from the center forward. Don't know if he knew too much about it. Again, though, Burns involved. At the heart of the move for Trinity that nearly restores their lead. Officially, a 2nd assist is given to Montgomery, and deservingly so, for that peach of a delivery, leading to the goal for the visitors. This game promised goals with both teams up over 2 a game this year. Promised quality with both teams undefeated in conference play. That back pass might have been under hit, but Mitchell not sprinting, unable to intercept it. Singh's pass goes out of play ahead of Montgomery. Trinity regrouping after conceding that equalizing goal from Singh. It's had a majority of the possession. Their goal came back in the 1st minute. Jones looking for the long ball over the top from Blanc. He tracks it down. His cross is blocked. And run out of play by Alexander Ward. It'll be a throw-in for Trinity. Jones showed off his deceptively long throw, and he does so again here as it arrives in the box. Mitchell goes for the overhead cross and nearly found its way nestled in at the back post. Instead, runs out on the far side. It'll be a goal kick. Not a bad effort from Mitchell. Certainly would have caught out the goalkeeper and everyone involved, really, in the game. Felton, his goal kick reaches the halfway line where it's met by Vanderlee, 2-time All-American for Trinity. Heading to SMU to use that 5th year of eligibility granted by the NCAA next season. Some more stats on Vanderlee, a midfielder from Ardenhout, the Netherlands. He's proud of that. He's from New York as well, Berkshire Prep. Before coming to Trinity, he's made 67 appearances for the Tigers, 53 of them starts, where he's scored 14, assisted 11, and has been All-SCAC first team twice, All-American once, and All-Region twice as well. And he's earned that move to the Division I level, play for Coach Kevin Hudson in the Mustangs next year. Silverstein loses out to Velos, ball in behind for Adji. 2 running to his right. Adji breaks forward into the box, has the defender on skates. The shot is spilled, and Mitchell's follow-up header is cleared off the line. Eastland Fruit with the crucial intervention off the line. Otherwise, Trinity would have restored their lead. Instead, Colorado College breaks forward on the counterattack. Silverstein down the right. Montgomery working to get in the box. And Rule blocks the cross behind for a corner. At one end, you got Adji, who blew past a couple of defenders, unfortunately scuffed the shot, and Mitchell couldn't get enough on the header to send it over the line before Eastland Fruit's foot cleared it off. And showing their prowess on the counterattack, Colorado College goes box to box and wins a corner. And with their aerial prowess, these are always threatening opportunities for Coach Palguta's side. Two hands raised. The ball sent in. The in-swinging delivery is met by a Colorado College player who stayed down, Noah Johnson. He's now back up on his feet. Header not on target, but again, first touch in the box that time was from a visiting player. Trinity goes short from the goal kick, dropped back to goalkeeper Juan Carlos Vidales. Velos comes infield for Vander Lee. Ball in behind for Burns, but it runs out of play. Ahead of Trinity's number 9. This balance that's been struck up in midfield between the 3 European midfielders, Burns, Downs, and Vander Lee, has really improved Trinity's attack since we saw it really for the first time in the second half against St. Thomas. Trinity have now scored 9 goals in just 2 games in total, 180 minutes. And it's given the wingers and forwards a platform to build off of, as well as that creativity and service into their feet. Downs, one of those midfielders, will stand over this free kick. The aerial threats all forward for Trinity. Galan, the latest to join this bombardment of the Colorado College area. Downs doesn't get enough under it. It's headed away by the first man. Velos needs to deal with it, and he's unable to do so. It's going to be a foot race going the other way, but it's 1-1 by Fraser Burns. Again, crucial awareness by Fraser Burns defensively, as much as he's contributed the assist and a couple other good moments offensively as well. That time he's beaten to it by Stark Ragsdale. Should be approaching that hydration break that was mentioned by the official before the game, as Blank comes into midfield to win it back, and Jones drops it all the way back to Vidales. Head up for the Trinity goalkeeper, and a booming ball sent forward. Ajit nearly got on the end of that in space. Still Trinity applying the pressure as Colorado College look to build out of their own half. Ward forward to Schuler. Vander Lee can't cut it out. Now Stark Ragsdale on the ball. Loses out to Jones. Clears it off Singh, and we will take the hydration break.
Time out on the field for water break.
A sub coming in at this hydration break for Colorado College is Saji Singh, who will go out onto the right wing for Silverstein, who's got an assist to his name as he takes a seat quarter way through this game. He'll be easy to pick out with the headband in red and white. Singh is a sophomore midfielder from Boulder, Colorado. Presumably related to Kieran Singh, who's a senior forward from the same spot.
For Trinity, number 7, Diego Gonzalez.
And we will see a couple of subs coming in for Trinity.
Brady Johnston.
Make it a trio, 3 all seniors. Ethan Moore, Diego Gonzalez, and Brady Johnston all enter. Moore, the midfielder from Flower Mound, Texas, has made 47 appearances for Trinity, 18 of them starts. Scored 3 goals and 3 assists, the most memorable coming last week. If you know, you know. Ethan Moore with a terrific long-range effort for Trinity last week. He is one of the highest performing members of Trinity's squad academically as well. constantly listed on the Dean's List, the honor roll, and he's headed to Cornell Law School after this semester. So congratulations to Ethan on that acceptance, and I wish him best of luck going forward. Gonzalez, the senior midfielder from San Antonio Central Catholic High Schools, made 37 appearances in maroon and white, scored 1, assisted 3, including a terrific assist to Adji a couple games ago against St. Thomas that definitely live in my memory. So I had the perfect angle to see the weight on the pass, and Adji dispatched it well for number 5 for Trinity in that game. Here he is on the ball. Been terrorizing the Colorado College defense, and once again goes past his defender with ease. Crosses cut back towards Burns, who goes to ground. Nothing doing, says the referee. And the visitors get it clear. Adji, an ever-present threat. Not only does he have the goal, he's nearly produced a couple more. Just 25 minutes into this game. Johnson pokes it away from Singh, but it's tracked down by Stark Ragsdale. Schuler in the center circle, doing what he does best and just retaining possession. Could relate his role to somewhat of a release valve for the pressure, sometimes build up in that midfield region of the field. Scored against Trinity from the penalty spot last year in that 2-1 home victory against Coach McGinley's side. Gonzalez goes all the way back to Vidales, who's now got the experience of Blanc as well as Johnston in front of him. Johnston, the most decorated of this Trinity senior class, the defender from Northampton, England. He picks out the ball to the feet of Mitchell. Can't connect with Vanderlee, and now a chance for Colorado College. Poked by Singh towards Singh, and taken away by Peter Blanc. Long ball for Adji. He can't keep it in play. Stark Ragsdale tries to break him behind after the throw. Rule forced to give it back to CC. Well, it looks like they're going to set this one up for a longer throw. Looking for Singh. Header won by Johnston. Helped on by Burns. Mitchell turns his defender, and it's 4-on-4 going the other way for Trinity. Put out in front of Adji. He's got Moore and Burns to his right. Adji on his left foot now comes to the byline, puts it across for Burns, and it's tapped in at the back post. It was Burns to Adji the first time around, and this time the sophomore winger returns the favor.
Goal for the Tigers by number 9, Fraser Burns.
Burns found the space at the back post. It was all created by Mitchell's turn in the halfway circle. He spread the play out to the left wing for Adji, who again took his defender to the byline with ease, put the ball across, and Burns could do nothing else but tap it home. Hint of offside in it, but without replay, we'll just ignore that. Tough to tell from our side anyway. Linesman had a better view. All of those platitudes that you say when your team is the one that scores. So Trinity now 2-1 to the good with 18 minutes remaining in the first half. The seniors off the bench making an immediate impact. But it's sophomore Chin Adji and junior Fraser Burns with a goal and an assist each early in this game. And here is Burns once again, poked wide for Moore. Moore overhits this cross, and it goes comfortably over the bar. Chance for the visitors to regroup. As I round out the conversation on Johnston's resume, he started 11 games as a first-year player, scored 2, assisted 4, and then in 2017 he was All-SCAC's second team as he continued to build out his career. And then 2018, when he really burst onto the scene, first team All-American and SCAC Defensive Player of the Year, scored 9, assisted 4, in 20 games and led Trinity a couple of rounds deep in the NCAA tournament as well. Missed 2019 through injury, so we get to see him back with the team again this year. And he's up to 67 appearances, 16 goals and 10 assists in Trinity colors. Throw in, taken quickly from Moore to Agee. Poked back to Gonzalez. Vanderlee gives it back to Rule. Here is Johnson on the ball. Forward towards Gonzalez. His touch just slightly too heavy on the far side. Runs out ahead of JC Rule. No one in the area for that Colorado College throw. Goes all the way back to Vidalis. Time for Peter Blanc. Singh gives chase. The ball's forward to the feet of Agee. Flicked in behind for Burns. Flag stays down. Space for Fraser Burns down the right wing. He's got teammates coming alongside him. To his left, he pokes it across and at the back post. Jack Eubank, his first goal for Trinity. Had just come off the bench and found himself in the attacking area there. Right place, right time for Eubank as Burns picks up his second assist of the game, and Trinity's offense is firing on all cylinders here in the first half. And it's all down to the brilliance of Burns, who's picking up all the right spaces, finding all the right passes, and is contributing like never before offensively for the Tigers.
And for Trinity, number 13, Philip Duenas.
Eubank, I hadn't even announced, had come onto the field before he found himself all the way at the back post.
And number 18, Jake Simon.
He's comfortable as either left back or left wing. Looks like he's playing on the left wing. Trinity making subs here, allowing both teams to catch their breath. It's been a frantic pace, and it's been the counterattacks from both teams that have led to goals. Mason Davis enters the field for the first time for Trinity in replacement of Eastland Fruit. Simon is in the midfield alongside Gonzalez, replacing Vanderlee. And Duenas is up front in lieu of Wesley Mitchell, who's had his part to play in the goals as well. Number 16 for both sides will come into the game now. For Colorado College, Will Taylor will replace Montgomery, and for Trinity, McCord will replace Burns, who's been excellent in 30 minutes. Did everything that you could. A goal and 2 assists to his name. And congratulations in order to him from all the teammates on the bench down to my right. Very changed 11 for Trinity. As the ball's laid off to Gonzalez, looking to burst beyond Duenas. Rule's now playing as the left back, and he wins it for Trinity here. The referee says he commits a foul in doing so. Breaking forward now down the right wing is Singh. 3 defenders around him. Poked away by McCord, retained by Colorado College. Stark Ragsdale whips it in, and Vidalis calls off Johnston coming to claim. Picks that one up. 14 and a half to go in the first 45. Trinity leading 3-1. Terrific touch off the chest of Duenas, but Gonzalez couldn't get it back to him. All the way back to Keller Felton. Sends the long ball forward, tracked down by Jacob Gallant for Trinity. Moore goes all the way back to Vidalis. He's had plenty to do with his feet. Just 1 save to his name. Likewise for Kelleher-Felton. And the other goal, but Felton's had to pick it out of the back of the net 3 times already. Johnston, head up, goes forward to Simon. His pass is intercepted. Ball dinked over the top, looking for Saji Singh. Blanc goes out to Johnston. Trinity, with all these subs in the game, looking to reestablish the rhythm and rise to the level that the starters put out there in the opening 30 minutes. The team play from Trinity has been excellent, and that's led to a couple of tap-ins. Their last 2 goals put on a platter and comfortably taken by Eubank and Burns. The first one is one to behold. Shot from just outside the box by Adji. Colorado College looking to respond here as the cross is sent in, and Vidales is able to claim. Takes contact from Stark Ragsdale on his way to ground. The visitors' goal came off a cross from Montgomery, eventually poked home by Kieran Singh, showing that CC certainly has the offense to be able to get back into a game like this. They're playing in conditions that they will not have done so far this year. 90+ degree heat today in San Antonio. Space for Eubank down the left. Puts the ball across for Dueñas. And last touch off the defender. But either way, Trinity won't care. They've got 4 here in the first half. This one created by Jack Eubank. And Dueñas was closest to it. He may claim it. We'll see. Either way, it ended up in the back of the net. It doesn't matter who the last touch came off of. Although it looked like initially it was Noah Johnson, number 17, the captain for Colorado College, caught in the wrong place at the wrong time as the near post run from Dueñas meant that the cross caromed in off the Colorado College defender, and they look shocked here to find themselves 3 goals down. And the San Antonio Heat long way back for the visitors if they want any chance of being the top seed of this year's tournament like they were last year. Blanc put under pressure by Singh. Composed play by the Dutch center back. This ball infield for Galan, who's holding it up with a couple of defenders on his back. Eventually arrives back at the feet of Blanc. Sent into touch by Mason Davis. Ronan McCann wants to enter the game at the next opportunity for Colorado College, the first year from Oregon. Meanwhile, Trinity looking to add to their advantage. Dueñas commits the foul, doing so. Ball launched forward, it'll go all the way through to Vidales. Approach the 10-minute mark remaining in the first half. Trinity opened the scoring in the first minute, and despite that equalizing goal from Singh, have kept their foot on the gas here in the first half. Blanc, plenty of space to come forward. Singh now comes to apply the pressure. It's sent down the line for Gonzalez. His touch is too strong. And now they will make that change. McCann enters for the first time today. And Kevin Peterson will take a seat. Felton's goal kick intercepted by Simon. Falls to the feet of Johnson. First involvement for McCann. As he receives the ball back on the 1-2. Some space for McCann to operate. Solid defensive play that time from Gonzalez. He sprung Martin Mata now down the left side. Mata eventually edged off of it after a solid forward run from the senior left back from Houston, Texas. He's got a story a little different than any of the other Trinity seniors. Wasn't a part of the team as a first year. Worked his way into the picture for Coach McGinley and made the team in the tryout as a sophomore. Galan to Dueñas, who draws a free kick. After he won that spot, Mata's now made 15 appearances for Trinity. It's been a real success story. Building everything off his hard work. And getting on the field here for Senior Day, which thus far Trinity have celebrated with 4 goals in the first half. Eubank has got one of them. And he'll send this one in. The in-swinging service overhit at the back post, and Blanc can't keep it in. Goal kick taken short. Now swinging across to Taylor. Moore applying the pressure, puts it out for Colorado College throw. Galan beats Schuler to it. Dueñas flicks it into the path of Moore. Will track this one all the way back to the goalkeeper. Eventually Felton does pick it up. Davis. Back to Felton. Dueñas putting the pressure on, but Johnston's the one that intercepts at the other end for Trinity. Pokes it wide for Moore into the path of Gonzalez. Runs into Sajid Singh. Now down the left wing with Taylor. Will Taylor, a couple of defenders around him, pokes it back towards Singh. McCord got a foot to it, but still Colorado College come forward, looking to grab one back before the half. Cross is blocked by Johnson, and as he does, wins the header immediately after. Dueñas and Gonzalez continue to try and link up. The number 10 and the number 9. Here's the number 9 for Colorado College. Singh cuts onto his favored right foot, sends that drive over the bar.
In for Trinity, number 36, Hornstein Steinerson.
Steinerson will enter the game for the first time for Trinity, replacing Jacob Galan. Galan, first team all SCAC last season. Putting a strong case together for Defensive Player of the Year here in 2021. If you look at his goal record, or Trinity's defensive record, with him on the field, certainly got to be amongst the best in the conference. So too, Vidalis in goal for Trinity. He wasn't out there when they conceded the 2 goals against St. Thomas. So he conceded, I believe, just 3 goals on the year. Make it 2, or no, 3, including today. Should have stuck with my gut. Mata with the ball in his hand on the far side, gets it back. And here he is now, chance to put the ball in, goes past one defender, just cross. Wrong side of the post, be behind for a goal kick. Both of these teams coming into today were 4-0-1 in conference. Trinity with no non-conference games on the schedule here in 2021. Coach Palguda's team opened the season with a non-conference matchup with Division II Colorado Christian, which they lost 3-2. Singh loses his footing. Blanc recycles possession for Trinity. So on paper, looks like an evenly matched game, but so far it hasn't been, as the ball's in behind and the flag is up. Trinity leading 4-1 here on home soil. And a tough road trip, really, for Colorado College. Starts today with this game, and then they will head to TLU to play before going back to Colorado College against Austin College next week. Trinity's only remaining contest ahead of the SCAC tournament will be at Shriner. That's Saturday at 2 p.m. in Kerrville. And then we'll head to Centenary College for this year's SCAC tournament. Despite some sports expanding their tournament field, looks like men's soccer will stick to the traditional first and second get the bye into the semifinals. As Mata comes forward once again down the left side, maybe a chance to take the shot on himself. He goes on to his right foot, and his shot thunders against the post. Trinity nearly add their 5th goal of the half through Martin Mata. So much joy coming down the left side for Trinity, and it hasn't really mattered which players are out there, the starters and the substitutes, getting it done down the left flank. That cross goes all the way through to be a Colorado College throw. The final word on the tournament format. First and second get the bye into the semifinals, and then the 3, 4, 5, and 6 seeds fight it out on the Friday. Eventually the winner decided in the final on the Sunday. Looking forward to that. As Trinity look to reclaim their SCAC title. They're in fine form at the moment, looking to do so. Moore looking to dance in the corner now. This cross is deflected behind, and they win a corner. Minute 40 ticking down here in the first half. Plenty of Trinity players around the ball, and they will go short. Ethan Moore, the low drive now, and to Gonzalez. He takes the shot on, and it's cleared off the line. Still not completely out for Colorado College. Eventually they do put it behind for a corner. Trinity threatening once again to add the 5th goal before the break. Eubank with the in-swinging service towards the back post. Punch clear. Johnson wins the follow-up.
1 minute, 1 minute.
And it lands just wide of the post. Chances galore for Trinity in the final couple of minutes of the half. Johnson, I mentioned in his last full season for Trinity, scored 9 goals. He's looking for his first of the season this year, many of them coming off situations such as that from free kicks and corners. 30 seconds to go as Mato wins it back, puts it into touch. And a sense of urgency already for Colorado College, who will need every ounce of energy and every second of the clock in the second half if they're going to get back into this game. It's been all Trinity with the exception of the one move that led to the CC goal.
8, 7, 6, 5,
Davis puts that one behind, and we head into the break. Trinity in command on senior day, 4-1. Opening goal from Adji in the first minute, and Burns scored the next. Actually Singh scored the next for Colorado College. And then for Trinity, the next 3 goals came from Burns, Eubank, and the own goal. And if the offense keeps ticking over the way it has in the first half, we're in for an exciting 45. We'll see if Coach Scott Palguda has any adjustments that might bring this game back into contention. And we will also have a halftime interview with Coach Michael LaHood, assistant coach for Trinity. We got to sit down with him last week. He will also join us for the opening minutes of the second half to talk about what he saw out there on the field. It's been all good so far for the Trinity Tigers at home, getting it done, up 4-1. Stay tuned for that interview in just a moment.
Ryan Figert, joined by new Trinity men's soccer assistant coach Michael LaHood. Coach LaHood, first of all, welcome to Trinity.
Thanks for having me.
And obviously, this interview, we want the Trinity fans to get to know you a little bit more. So why don't you start with just the cliff notes of kind of your bio and your career?
My story starts in Freetown, Sierra Leone. And for those of you who've never heard of it, it's one of the smallest countries in Africa. It's on the original West Coast, the West Coast of Africa. And, my story starts with life at peace. And I was a kid who felt safe. And I was also a kid who was madly in love with the game of soccer. And when I was 6 years old, there was a civil war that took place. And I got an emergency visa to move to the United States. So when I came to the US, I didn't really know much about anything. But the only thing that I connected to being in America was soccer. And the beautiful game and following the round ball took me to such incredible heights and incredible places. And so much so that it allowed me to get a scholarship at Wake Forest University, where I was very fortunate to become a national champion in 2007 and be part of a historical stretch and historical chapter in the program's history. And I was rewarded for that in my performances at Wake Forest with a professional career. I was drafted 9th overall by Chivas USA in Major League Soccer. And so went from Washington, D.C., North Carolina to sunny Southern California, also known as Hollywood, and got to play against some of my childhood heroes, Thierry Henry, David Beckham, Kaká, David Villa, and many more. And so I was able to have an 11-year career in professional soccer. And that career brought me to San Antonio, Texas. I got to play for San Antonio FC in 2009 and retired last year in 2020. And it gave me a lot of time, the gift of time. And that's where I made the decision to hang up my boots and transition into coaching and broadcasting, which is where we are to present day.
You logged over 18,000 professional minutes in your playing career. So, what's one of your favorite memories from your playing days?
The first one, professional debut in the MLS. I remember it was against the Colorado Rapids in sunny Southern California. It was such a memorable moment that I remember forgetting what minute I even went in to the game. I was later reminded kindly by my coach it was the 55th minute. I thought it was the 75th minute. I was on adrenaline. First debut, first win, and put in a solid performance to start my career.
You also had the opportunity to represent your home country of Sierra Leone on the international stage 4 times. So what did that opportunity mean to you?
It meant everything. It brought my story full circle, and my story starts and takes place in my home country of Freetown, Sierra Leone. And I followed the ball and the beautiful game all around the world. And so for soccer, to bring me back to my home country to represent my family and everyone who came before me at the highest level is something I'll never forget.
Speaking of Sierra Leone, you and Kai Kamara, who was your international teammate, set up a school. You worked extensively with other charities in the country. So can you tell us a little bit more about that work that you guys did?
The school we have in Sierra Leone is called the Education for All School. It's through a nonprofit arm called Schools for Siloam, based out of Seattle, Washington. And there's an old saying that sometimes you find adventure and sometimes adventure finds you. I think this is something that found both of us. And I've always been inspired by belonging to something and using my platform to impact something bigger than myself. And when I found out about the atrocities that happened in my home country with the Civil War over blood diamonds and how education was just destroyed, I wanted to do something about it. And I think education is the most powerful tool in this world to transform and inspire the world for the better. And so I wanted to make sure that the next generation had access to the best quality education as possible to help transform our home country.
You finished up at San Antonio FC. Now you find yourself here at Trinity. What was it about the city that made you feel at home?
San Antonio is a city unlike any other. It's a community. I think it was the first city I'd ever been to or played in that had this homely feeling to it. I remember talking to a friend of mine at the Pearl in the middle of 2019 and really having this sense of, this is the first place I've been where I enjoy my life in the city as much as I love my time on the field. And I'd never experienced that before. And I think also San Antonio is a city where you can leave an imprint and you can write your own story and create your own future.
Yeah. So obviously transitioning from playing to coaching, is that always what you envisioned, like when you retired?
Early in my career, I didn't really want to be a coach. I wanted to make sure that if I was done with the game, I was done with the game. But towards the end of my career, and especially a big reason why I came to San Antonio, was I wanted to pay it forward.
And then the team's off to a great start here in your first season. You know, they're 3-0-1 as we're recording this. So how have you found it since joining the staff? And, you know, what about this team makes it special and so successful?
No one ever tells you, how do you represent Trinity University in the midst of a pandemic? And so to see the guys battle through the adversities that COVID has brought on to sports and bounce back. And I think it was something like 590 plus days without a home match. And to see what it means to the guys and really to experience that firsthand as a coach, it's something I definitely will never forget, transitioning into my career as coaching. And to backtrack a bit, it was the first experience of being on the road, getting the 2 games at University of Dallas, and also my first time with the team on the road at Austin College. I got a taste of just that special spark, that sense of gold dust that is being part of the Tiger family.
But in addition to coaching here at Trinity, you're also going to be a part of the MLS team, Austin FC. They're broadcasting set up for their debut season, which starts in a few months. So have you done any broadcasting work in the past? Is this new for you? Are you excited? Are you nervous? How are you feeling?
Outside of playing, off the field, I was always doing something in media and something in broadcasting. And rather than reinventing the wheel, I stuck with what I knew. And so when the opportunities came to transition into broadcasting and coaching, it was a no-brainer. And there's something that's happening here in South and Central Texas. Texas is one of the hotbeds for soccer. And to see a team like Austin FC having an MLS team in a growing city that is one of the fastest growing cities in the country and really the world, like Austin, it's really cool. And to be able to be part of the voice and to be able to tell the story of Austin FC and soccer in Texas in 2021 is something that I'm really stoked for.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be cheering you on from back here in San Antonio. But thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that Tiger fans feel like they know Coach LaHoo just a little bit better as we watch the men's soccer team continue to have success on the field this year. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for having me. As always, go Tigers.
We welcome you back here to Paul McGinley Field for the second half of this SCAC matchup between Trinity and Colorado College. I'm Ryan Figured, and I'm now joined by Trinity assistant coach Michael LaHood. Coach LaHood, obviously a terrific first half for your guys. What was the key to so many goals?
I think what we did so well in that first half was defensive transition. Colorado College is such a good team in their build-out. They look to play, but our guys are matching them for the hard work. And as soon as we win the ball, we're doing a great job of finding wide players to create 2v1s and going straight to goal. 4 goals in the first half. Amazing statement performance, but the game's not over yet. Next goal wins this game and puts it out of reach.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk a little bit about the psychology of coming into a second half. You know, with such a big advantage, but still 45 minutes to play, like you said.
Well, they're coming into South Texas, which is steaming this time of year. You can be Rocky Mountain high and fit, but there's nothing like playing in this weather. We need to wear them down. The ball never gets tired. They do. So keep the ball moving, and then the gaps will show themselves for goals.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us here, and good luck to Trinity the rest of the way.
All right, go Tigers.
Back here in live action is John Conor Rule. Sends the long ball down the line looking for Mitchell. Thanks again for quick moment there from Coach LaHood breaking down what went right for his team in the first half. The first half which got off to a flying start. Aggie opening the scoring and 32 seconds into the game off the assist from Fraser Burns. Colorado College equalized in the 16th minute through Kieran Singh for the Trinity onslaught resumed. Goal by Fraser Burns, assisted by Aggie, and the reversal of the first score. And then Eubank scored a tap-in on the cross from Fraser, again involved, and then the own goal was forced off the cross from Jack Eubank. Made it 4-1. Plenty of time remaining in this game, and as Coach LaHood said, the sun is still beating down here in San Antonio. Vanderlee breaks the line, sends it down the line for Veloz. He keeps it in play. Cuts back onto his favored right foot, swings it in towards the back post. Header is one, it falls to the feet of Jones. Still not cleared by Colorado College. Eventually they do get it away. Burns holding his head, so they'll stop play momentarily. He's up to his feet. Burns not happy as he thinks maybe the referee misinterpreted the situation. He'll have to briefly come get checked out. And there'll be an uncontested drop ball for Colorado College in their defensive half. And Burns is back in. 2 minutes gone. Eastland Fruit back in the lineup for Colorado College. And his long ball's got them coming forward now down the left side. Montgomery up against Galan. Galan, a strong tackle to win it back. Mitchell with the layoff to Burns. Space for him in the center circle. Aggie out to his left. He will put the ball in behind for Aggie. It was well read by Eastland Fruit. Colorado College play out. Ball down the line at the feet of Stark Ragsdale. 2 Trinity players around him. And they'll say Vanderlee committed the foul, forcing the turnover. Saji Singh starting the game in the center of the park for Coach Palguda. Looks like an adjustment made at halftime. So he came off the bench in the first half. Here he is. Looking for the ball over the top to the other Singh. Kieran Singh, who's got his name on the score sheet. They're going to need plenty more out of their top scorer here in the second half. Try and get back into this game. He's now up to 5 goals and 7 appearances on the year. So you see a majority of the field now bathed in shadow here at Paul McGinley Field. Game started at 6 o'clock in the searing San Antonio heat. Started to feel like a usual soccer season again that starts in August under the summer sun. Blanc has his pass intercepted, put out for a throw. was intended for Golan. Trinity honoring their seniors today. One that is not involved in the game this afternoon is Jacob Hallenberger. As Burns comes forward. Burns towards the edge of the area, lays it across for Adji, who takes the shot on first time. And Felton got behind it. He didn't get a terrific read on it. Spilled it right back between the posts. But it was cleared away by a teammate. Speaking on Hallenberger, he's had a terrific Trinity career. 65 appearances, 45 of those starts, 18 goals, and 21 assists. He was second team All-SCAC in 2017 as a first-year player, and then he was first team All-SCAC in 2018 when he got into double-digit assists with 11. Last year he made 20 appearances, scored 3, assisted 3. San Antonio native has made Trinity proud here in his hometown throughout his time on campus. Frustration from Silverstein talking to the official after that late display. It's Trinity regained possession. He's on the ball now, turned over by Blank. 3 in the attack for Colorado College. Golan does enough, tracking back on the far side. It was indecisive forward play from Silverstein, and the ball stays inbounds for Trinity on the right side. Golan locked in a battle with Noah Johnson, who dribbles clear and finds the ball into Schuler. Adji gets a foot in, wins it back off a Singh. Adji now 35 yards from goal. Plays it off to Jones down the right wing. Jones' first touch a bit heavy. And last touch was off the Trinity player behind for a goal kick. A couple of loose passes for Trinity. So difficult to keep the focus with such a big lead. We'll see if they're able to do so throughout the second half. Here's Velos looking to add to that lead. Just poked it with the outside of the right foot off of Silverstein behind for a corner. So much of what Trinity have done well has come through Burns, come through Adji, as it did there. They go short to Burns from the corner. Silverstein closes them down. Downs was offside on the return pass. That will relieve the Trinity pressure. Another senior for the Tigers this season, Lewis McClure, as Fraser Burns from Scotland. So is McClure. He's from Uphall, transferred from Delta State after a couple of seasons at the Division II level, where he made 25 appearances, recorded an assist, and then last year 19 appearances for Trinity. Here's Mitchell breaking into the box. The left-footed shot just over the bar. Strong driving run from Wesley Mitchell. Excellent touch, kept it right in range for the left-footed shot, which he lashed over the bar in the end. Colorado College goes short from the goal kick. 8 minutes gone here in the second half. These two teams undefeated in conference play thus far in 2021. As of now, it looks like Trinity will continue that into their final regular season game next weekend. Of course, the abbreviated schedule this year because of COVID. Trinity playing no non-conference games. Only going to play 8 regular season games in total. Ahead of potentially 2 more in the SCAC tournament. Rule head up, driving forward. Goes down the line for Velos. Couldn't connect with Adji. Schuler wins it back. Mitchell. An excellent sliding tackle. Wins it back from the senior midfielder out of Chicago. A couple of Chicago natives, including the goalkeeper for Colorado College, Keller Felton. It's where their season ended last year in the first round of the NCAA tournament against Gustavus Adolphus, 3-2. We've got the ball Here coming forward down the right side. Stark Ragsdale lays it off to Schuler, who can't connect with Singh. It just seems like the chemistry is a bit off in the attacking areas at the moment for Coach Palguta's side.
Sky, come from behind him.
Downs lays it back to Rule. Of course, this year, Colorado College without two of their top scorers from last year, as I've already mentioned on the broadcast. Sam Birmingham, the Panamanian forward, graduated. Here's Jones down the right side, puts the ball across for Mitchell. It's cut out. And Schuler awkwardly back to a teammate. Eventually the flag goes up against Trinity. Birmingham graduated for Colorado College, as they also lost the SCAC Newcomer of the Year, Griffin Meyer, to Denver, who transferred to the Division I level after putting up 11 goals and 2 assists and 21 appearances for the Tigers. So far, though, those offensive questions had been answered by the likes of Singh and Silverstein, who wins the header there. Ball won back by Peterson. Drives into midfield. Vanderleet slides to intercept the pass. Schuler goes wide. Stark Ragsdale. Hint of handball in it, but it arrives at the feet of Silverstein. Good turn from Stark Ragsdale, edge of the area. Shot blocked by Peter Blanc. And kept in play by Jones. Drop back to Vidales, who sends it clear. Right to the chest of Mitchell. Singh loses his footing. Burns now driving forward. He's got Jones out to his right. Jones now into the area. It's Galan, actually, who takes the shot on. Jones covering at right back as Jacob Galan bombed forward and got the shot touched wide. I don't know, maybe Felton wasn't forced to intervene. Caught all out of sorts when I saw it was actually Galan who was in the Colorado College box. And again, he wanted me to give that shout out to Abuela Galan tuning in. I'm sure she's enjoyed this Trinity performance so far. Silverstein, the recipient of a long ball over the top. He's onside. He's got runners in the area. His cross cut out by Velos, stuck to his task. And Silverstein may have picked up an injury on that sprint. Saw him holding the back of his leg, but it looks like he'll stay in play. His throw-in is met by the head of J.C. Rule. Ball bouncing around in the area for Colorado College, but it's Burns that comes away with it for Trinity. Jones. Now, 1-against-1 with his defender just past the halfway line. Mason Davis, no match for the pace of Connor Jones, who dinks the ball across, looking for Adji. Couldn't quite connect. Downs will recycle for Trinity. The feet of the danger man, Fraser Burns. Burns cuts back onto his right foot, drops it off for Vanderleet. Wide now for Gallant. And Silverstein looks like he will have to be replaced. He's down just in front of the two benches at the center circle, holding the back of his left leg. That'll be a concern not only for the remainder of this game, the last 32 and a half. I mentioned the game against TOU coming up on the 11th, and then the season finale against the Roos of Austin College. Looks like they may take an impromptu hydration break here. As Silverstein receives treatment. And I'll take it with him, take a quick swig. We'll be back in just a moment once the senior winger from Colorado College is tended to and the teams retake the field. Silverstein replaced by Will Taylor. And we are ready to get back underway here. 32-28 on the clock. Trinity leading 4-1. All the goals coming in the first half of play. Goal and 2 assists for Fraser Burns today. Takes him up to 3-3 on the season. He's made 6 appearances in 2021. 3 of those from the start, including today. His growing influence propelling Trinity forward in the last 3 matchups with St. Thomas, TLU, and now Colorado College. Downs back to Vidales, who deals with a bouncing ball really well, sends it 60 yards clear of his goal, and it's tracked down by Mitchell. Sends it wide now for Jones. A couple of step overs. Cut back onto his left foot. Solid defending here from Taylor, but Jones eventually able to get the service across. Taylor sends it clear. Rule intervenes and makes sure that there's no counterattack for the visitors.
Give it to John there. You can handle it.
3 subs posed to come in for the game for Trinity as Mitchell wins it back off the goalkeeper. Applying the pressure. And Rule does really well at the other end. Locked in a battle with the big number 9, Kieran Singh. He looks a lot bigger than 6 foot 170. He's listed at on the roster. Couldn't make use of his frame there as the sophomore center back won it back for Trinity. Blanc forced to go to ground at maybe 4-on-2, going the other way for Colorado College if they can go quickly. Singh lays it off to the left. Montgomery can't get there. It's intercepted by Galan. Another potential counterattack wasted by CC and Trinity. Looking to be more clinical than their opponents on the day. Here's Adji, a couple of step overs, takes his man to the line. Ball across for Mitchell. Runs all the way through. And Vanderlee will try and track it down. He will. Threw a fancy little step over in there. Just because. It's senior day, right? So you got license for things like that. You put in 4 years like Vanderlee has. This is his 68th appearance, 54th start. And he started a terrific move here. Ball in behind for Downs. Off the layoff from Mitchell. Trinity will have a corner. And they'll be eager to get Johnston back in the game as he will replace Blanc. So Somerville will replace Mitchell. And McCord will replace Downs. From a Trinity perspective, if you were worried about a strong push out of the halftime break from Colorado College, you've now seen that out the first 15 minutes, and you still have your 3-goal lead intact. Had just as many chances to add to it as they have to cut into it. Burns. The out-swinging service towards the back post. Johnston up to meet it. Can't direct it goalward. It's tracked down by the other substitute, Somerville. And back to the third of the substitute trio, McCord. Gallant looks to put his head down, finds the ball into the feet of Connor Jones. Again, has his cross blocked. Took some contact there, thought maybe whistle might come from the official, but it's Vanderlee who wins it back. Again, no counterattack because of the work of Vanderlee in front of the back line for Trinity. Trinity recycle it around the back line. Johnston's forward ball intended for Somerville, but it's recovered by McCord. Adji tracks this one down, drops it off to Velos. Rule able to do just enough to keep that one in play. You see the field a little worse for wear there, where he ended up slipping. And Johnston nearly leaves it short of Vidales, but Vidales with a long ball over the top. He's played Fraser Burns in behind. The flag stays down. Burns cuts into his left foot. And he wasn't fouled, says the referee. Nearly an opportunity for Vidalis to pick up an assist. I'd really like to dive back into the stat books and see when the last time a Trinity goalkeeper was able to do that. Vanderlee's long ball over the top. Burns has stayed down in the area for Trinity. Velos keeps it alive. Burns still down. And this time it looks like the trainer will need to come onto the field, unlike the collision that happened in the opening minute of the half. It was all a bit haphazard, and Johnson's pass was under hit, but he set up Vidalis to send a booming clearance over the top. Burns was alive to it and broke in behind, cut onto his left foot, and looks like he may have turned the ankle. You see he's talking to the trainer at the moment. If he is forced to come out, it will be a big blow for Trinity despite their lead today. They've got one more regular season game and then the tournament coming up, and Burns has been their leading man this season. Mentioned just a few minutes ago, 3 goals, 3 assists, and just 3 starts, 6 appearances in total for the Scottish midfielder. While we've got the time, I'll highlight a couple more Trinity seniors that Coach McGinley wants to honor, even if they aren't involved out there today. The first, Rodrigo Castillo, who was part of the team for the last 3 seasons, the defender from Kingwood, Texas. Made 54 appearances in Tiger colors, 22 starts, scored 5, assisted 6. He was 2018 All-SCAC honorable mention, and he decided to focus on his studies this season, on the pre-med track and getting involved with clinicals at the hospital. The schedule obviously tremendously crowded for Castillo, and he chose to do so, but we of course wish him the best going forward in his medical studies and thank him for his contribution to the program over 3 terrific seasons. Another one not with the team, Andrea Caudispati, who was a standout for Trinity over 2 years after transferring in as a sophomore. In 2 years, he had 40 appearances, 33 starts, scored 16, assisted 8. He was the leading scorer for Trinity last season with 9 goals, and he was all-region second team, first team all-conference. A New York native watching the game today. Thank him for his contribution to the Trinity program. Velos, most alert to what was happening in front of him. He intercepted it. His ball intended for Somerville was cut out. Runs all the way through to Johnson, who drops it back to Vidalis. Roll with the ball to McCord, and again another touch for Vidalis. Burns has been replaced by Diego Gonzalez, playing as the furthest forward of the midfield 3, with McCord and Vanderlee underneath. Eastland Fruit takes the long ball on the chest. Strong touch from Taylor's turned over to Somerville. Lays it off to the senior captain, Vanderlee. Daisy cut her ball out to Jones, who can now run at his defender off the right wing. Thinks it towards the back post. Adji closest to it. Slightly overrun it. But he wins it back in the corner, and he's got a throw. Gonzalez with the layoff to McCord. Adji tries to keep it in play. He's got another throw. Same spot. 20 minutes in the books here in the second half. McCord wanted to wind up and hit that on the volley. Sliced it. And Colorado College can clear. Vanderlee with another big win aerially in midfield. Be interesting to see how the two coaches manage these final 25 minutes. There's been some shaky moments, but it's remedied there by a terrific ball from Rule to Velos, who's now come infield from left back. Vanderlee forward to Jones. Again, Velos popping up in the advanced midfield position. Trinity just maintaining possession here. Now they go with the long ball. No run to meet it. If you're counting the seniors that I've highlighted so far, there's one left. And he's dressed out today, so we'll hold off and see if we might get a glimpse of the California native Neil Verwillow before the day's done. Velos with another back pass to Vidalis. Despite the score, both of these coaches aware of the danger that Colorado College can present offensively, even with Silverstein now out of the game. I think that's why you still see a large number of starting players or starting caliber players out there at the moment for Coach McGinley. One goal goes in and the momentum can suddenly swing. And they'll look to manage this game out. Of course, no worries about a second game on the weekend. That's not true, though, for Coach Palguda and Colorado College. They head to Seguin and TLU on Sunday. Of course, plenty more reserves for Coach McGinley to pull from. Double or triple the amount of players on the bench for the home team in comparison to the visitors, who got to manage the COVID restrictions in the traveling party. Jones, edge of the area, puts it in behind for Velos, whose first touch is heavy, but he's still able to win the corner. It's good vision from Jones, good run from Velos. Jones will now be replaced by Alan McGuire, who's into the game for the first time today. A quarter of the 90 to play. Johnson and Montgomery, two starters to the bench for Coach Palguda. Trinity with the corner. It's Ward and Sloan who entered the game moments ago for Colorado College. Gonzalez with a strange one there from the corner, goes all the way back to Galan. And the ball back to Gonzalez, and that was not one to remember for Trinity, safe to say. A day in which there have been at least 4 moments to remember. Goals in the first half from Adji, Burns, Eubank, who scored his first collegiate goal, and then forced an own goal for the 4th. Gonzalez applying the pressure and committing the foul. Will Taylor on the receiving end of the challenge from the senior San Antonio native. McGuire loses his footing just in the game. Rule also losing his footing here in the build-up. Strong driving run inside by Stark Ragsdale. It's laid off to Singh. It's probing this Trinity midfield, looking for space. It's down the line. And last touch off Velos. Be a throw for CC. Adji drops it back to Johnston. Loose ball from Galan. Johnston lunging to try and meet it. Stark Ragsdale twisting and turning. 25 yards from goal. No runs ahead of him. He's forced to go sideways. Schuler again coming backwards. This pass just kept in play on the far side. Golan's going to shield this one all the way out of play. Even when Trinity have had these loose moments in the back, they've been quick to put out the fire so far in the second half. Certainly some warning signs there for Coach McKinley. We mentioned the mindset and the psychological difficulties that come with seeing out an early lead. Off your screen, it was Vander Lee talking to McCord. Some motion, just keep the level high. All you have to do is really keep the possession and kill off these final 19 minutes and change. Secure the 3 points, secure first place in the SCAC, I believe, outright for the season. Ball put in behind, chance for Taylor. Wrong side of Rule, cuts back. Rule hounding him backwards, or it's poked back to McCann. McCann again up against JC Rule. Relentless pressure from the sophomore center back. Taylor pokes it in behind for Peterson. Peterson's ball overhit. Colorado College really being made to work to even get that cross away. Ultimately wasteful with the final ball. Atticus Lynch into the game. Stark Ragsdale to the bench, presumably saving him for that matchup with the Bulldogs on the horizon. Despite the scoreline, I thought he provided some really good moments in midfield. He'll be one to watch if these two teams meet up in the SCAC tournament. Still an opportunity for Southwestern to jump into that number 2 position, as Schuler looked to get it behind there, taken away from him by All-American Brady Johnston. Southwestern came into this game 3-0-2, so 2 points behind Colorado College. Of course, will probably come down to points per game if not everyone can get their full complement of fixtures in. Cross swung in by Singh, met by Schuler, falls for a teammate there. It was Kevin Peterson, I believe, who volleyed wide. And we will have our final hydration break of the evening. Southwestern, the team that will have the opportunity to go beyond Colorado College in the final day of the season. That's such an important position to have the first round bye. Saw Trinity try and come from the quarterfinal last year unsuccessfully, falling to the Bulldogs after playing a game on the Friday. Even though they won that game comfortably, the fatigue factor, the quick turnaround makes it so difficult, and that's the reason why no one has ever come from the quarterfinal to win the SCAC tournament. So much on the line for Colorado College in their final 2 games of the season, even if this result holds, and it looks like it will, with 17.5 to go. Trinity leading 4-1. For those interested, Southwestern Pirates have 2 games left on their schedule. They play tomorrow at the University of Dallas at 1 o'clock, and at home on the 17th against the University of St. Thomas, who are also in contention. They're in 4th place with a 3-2-1 record. Saw them here at Paul McGinley Field earlier in the season when Trinity exploded in the second half for 5 goals, 5-2 the final that day against the Celts. And coming off a year where Trinity was unable to win the SCAC tournament, how I already mentioned, finished 12-7-2 in what was largely a disappointing season for Coach McGinley, his 29th in charge. They've come out this year, they've just got the 1 draw. Everything else has come up 3 points. And they're back to scoring goals in a free-flowing manner, like Trinity teams of years past. Ball sent down the line. Somerville provides the chase, but Eastland Fruit seals it off, out for a throw. JC Rule wins the header from the subsequent throw. Lynch takes it once again. This time it's McCord that cuts it out. Third straight throw in for Atticus Lynch. Sophomore midfielder from Princeton, New Jersey. Nope, make it 4 in a row now as Johnston sends that one into touch. Johnston puts a foot through that one. Somerville makes it stick. Looks for the long ball over the top. Keeper comes to meet it. Felton allows it to roll into his waiting arms. It was intended for McGuire. Johnson with another big win up against Peterson. Who's up front? No Kieran Singh here in the second half. Majority of the key contributors for Coach Palguda find themselves on the bench at the moment. Another long ball from Vanderlee. Looking for Adji. Just over hit. He wins another header off the throw. Shots John Connor. Puts his name on it, puts his head to it. Aislinn Fruit with another tackle, putting it out for a Trinity throw this time, deep in Colorado College territory. Not a lot to do for either keeper. 2 saves for Keller Fulton, and just 1 save for Vidalis in the Trinity net. He's had plenty to do with his feet, but both teams fairly clinical with their opportunities. See 6 shots on target for the home team, leading to their 4 goals. And a man with a goal and assist to his name, Chin Adji, replaced by a man who's also scored, Jack Eubank. Adji up to 3 goals, 1 assist on the season. Transfer from St. Edwards, starting to feel at home here at Paul McGinley Field. Came down from the hilltop. McGuire, first opportunity to run his defender. He goes through the legs of Alexander Ward. Couldn't recover it at the other end, so technically doesn't count as a nutmeg, but you saw the intention. Mata, who struck the post in the first half, will now replace Jesus Velos. And Simon will enter for Vanderlee, presumably coming off the field here for the final time. And he gets a standing ovation from his teammates, the senior from the Netherlands, Quentin Vanderlee, captain of this team over the last 3 seasons. Former All-American. Don't know if they're giving out those awards this year, but he's got to be on the short list if they are. Scalon whips that one in, intended for Somerville. McCord trying to start the attack, but overhits his pass. Under 14 to go. You see some of the Trinity faithful gathered on the fence there, taking it all in. Most of the offensive action for Trinity coming in the first half. They're looking to add to their 4-goal haul, though, here. Somerville in the area on the feed from Eubank. His shot's blocked. Hands on the head for Coach McGinley, who thought that could have been the 5th. McGuire, Alan McGuire cuts a couple times. How involved Chin Adji's been. I'm starting to call everyone by his name. Jake Simon has it taken off him by Schuler. Appeals for handball from Trinity. No whistle coming from the official. Simon still battling on the far side. Johnston mishits his clearance. Loses his footing. Singh now in the area. Puts the ball across. Sliding tackle from Mata. Another block from Martin Mata. Trinity scrambling here. And Johnston Applies a composed touch and sends it over the top. Somerville will chase. Really positive first touch. He's wrong side to the Colorado College back line. He slips it towards the goalkeeper, but Keller Fulton comes up with a big save there. An honest effort from Somerville, who got wrong side of the defender, and truth be told, a hand all over him the whole time. Stayed on his feet and tried to apply that finishing touch. Ball at the feet of Brady Johnston. Vidales with a pinpoint ball into the chest of Mata, who's made a terrific defensive play moments ago. Now he comes forward into the attack. Mata already struck the post once in this game, pokes it wide for Eubank. Eubank's cross is blocked, and it's behind for a corner. Joinez enters the game for Somerville, who I was just checking has got his name on the score sheet once this season on the opening weekend against Austin College and Trinity's 2-1 win. Joinez has also been involved. He scored against the University of St. Thomas and assisted against the University of Dallas. He takes his place in the Trinity front line here for the final 10 minutes. Gonzalez whips it towards the back post. Headed away by Eastland Fruit. Johnston holds out the defender just long enough to send it back towards J.C. Rule. Ball down the line intended for Joinez off the bench. Put out of play. Tigers in no rush to take the throw. Referee will stop the clock here, is maybe taking a little too long. 9:57 remaining in the game. And the final senior I wanted to shout out here on senior day was Neil Verwillow, the midfielder from Palo Alto, California, who's racked up 52 appearances for Trinity, 34 of them starts. He scored 1, assisted 5. He was honorable mention back in 2017 for all SCAC honors. And that makes 11 seniors for Coach McGinley and this Trinity team. Over the course of their 4 years on campus, the team have totaled a 54-11-6 record, made 3 NCAA tournament appearances, and won the SCAC twice. They're looking to do so for a 3rd time this season, potentially clinching the #1 seed, although I haven't done all the math, with this win today and the tournament on the horizon a couple weeks from now. Looks like there will be another curtain call for 2 of the seniors as Vanderlee and Mitchell discussing with the coaches, maybe a final 8.5-minute cameo. Galan on the ball. Cuts inside for Trinity, puts it in behind, looking for Joinez. Intercepted. Potential chance on the counter now for Colorado College. Simon hauls the Tiger down just inside the center circle, stopping the counterattack. And Mitchell and Vanderlee will re-enter.
And number 23, Wesley Mitchell.
And they get the deserved round of applause here at Paul McGinley Field from their teammates. Of course, no fans officially allowed into the game to honor these seniors. They've honored themselves with their play this season and particularly today. Both starters re-enter the game. Looks like Mitchell will play a slightly deeper position in midfield, just ahead of Vanderlee, with Gonzalez to their left. Galan shielding the ball. Goes to Vanderlee. He's giving it back to the right back. Johnston forward, looking for the head of Dueñas. Mitchell turns it over in midfield. Gonzalez goes back to Rule. He's put under pressure here by Schuler. Putting in solid work here in midfield, but just played around by the Tiger goalkeeper. Mitchell using his body well in midfield, looks for the big switch, and it's pinpoint onto the foot of McGuire, loses his footing. Couldn't make anything of that pinpoint ball from Mitchell, but he's returned the favor here. Giving it to the senior. Now Dueñas, right side of the area. Dropped off to Vanderlee. Vanderlee steps past the on-rushing defender. Goes back to Galan. Good pass and move on the far side between Dueñas and Quentin Vanderlee. It's out for a Trinity throw, 6 minutes to go. Miles Montgomery set to re-enter for the visitors at the next opportunity. Gonzalez, once the ball sent towards Eubank, will have a pop at goal, and he's got his second of the game. Trinity's fifth. And he made sweet, sweet contact on that volley. Took everyone, including the goalkeeper, off guard. As Trinity almost lulling Colorado College to sleep, Eubank waking everybody up with that thunderous left-footed volley. Two goals on the day now for Jack Eubank. Earlier in the season, played at left back, deployed further forward today, and to great effect. Master stroke from Coach McGinley, Carty, and LaHood. We've seen players move up and down the flank in their time. Kyle Davis springs to mind, someone that came in as a winger, then moved back into defense, and then back. Ball into midfield for Gonzalez. And Coach McGinley continues to keep me guessing. Looks like he's going to take the seniors off now. Plenty of times to mention our gratitude for their contribution to the program. And looks like we'll get one last opportunity to do so here in a moment. Might even see Neil Verwillow out on the field. He's ready to come into the game. Montgomery breaks into the box. Wanted the free kick, or the penalty even. Nothing coming from the official. Hasn't had much to do in the second half particularly. Vidalas with another booming punt. Eubank running onto it. It's tracked down by Dueñas. Laid off to Mata. Mata popping up centrally here. Lays it off to Vanderlee out wide now for McGuire, who comes in field. Well, split the defense, but didn't match the run of Dueñas, and now those subs will come in. And we'll see who comes out. So Verwillow in for the first time today. The senior from Palo Alto replaces Jack Eubank with his 2 goals. Seniors Johnston, Mata, Gonzalez coming off. Mitchell as well. And all the high fives and congratulations in order. Now to our right on the Trinity bench. Vanderlee, final one replaced. So with the exception of Verwillow playing off the left, this entire roster out on the field right now will return for next season. And plenty of starters still not out there from the junior class. Jones and Burns come to mind. There's another member of that junior class. Simon, who makes the intervention. Michael Black jumps the pass. He's on the field now. It's part of the back four. McGuire, his pass is overhit. Intended for Verwillow. So your 11 seniors that Coach McGinley honors today: Diego Gonzalez, Jacob Hallenberger, Brady Johnson, Lewis McClure, Wesley Mitchell, Ethan Moore, Martin Mata, Quentin Vanderlee, Neil Verwillow, Rodrigo Castillo, and Andrea Codispati. And they've done themselves proud, as have their teammates today. A comfortable 4-goal margin up on the scoreboard at the moment. Colorado College will look to cut into that. Maybe grab a consolation goal to take with them to Seguin, where they'll play next against TLU on Sunday. Aislinn Fruit's pass is intercepted by Dueñez, but it doesn't stay near enough to Trinity's striker to threaten. Felton in goal. Simon with another interception. Trinity regains possession in their own half.
Go ahead.
Rule for Simon. Space for McCord. Velosko's on the overlap. Trinity just playing it safe, playing it comfortable here with 1:30 to go. Good touch there from Verwillow. Back to Rule. Dueñez wants the ball forward. He wins it. Slayed off back to Verwillow. Diagonal intended for McGuire. But turned over to Colorado College. Michael Black wins the header. As the 1-minute call comes over the PA here at McGinley Field, Trinity scored in the opening minute of the game through this man, Trent Agee, assisted by Fraser Burns. Colorado College equalized, and it looked like the game was back on. Kieran Singh scored after the Miles Montgomery cross and the Silverstein assist. But then the onslaught resumed. Trinity scoring through Burns, Eubank, and an own goal before the break, and then adding a fifth through Jack Eubank once again here in the second. And they had it all. Solid possession, lethal finishing, and the day to remember for the Trinity seniors. Tigers will improve to 5-0-1 and take sole possession of first place in the conference. Colorado College will fall to 4-1-1 as Dueñez takes a shot on just at the end, trying to beat the buzzer. And the game will end with the ball in the hands of Keller Felton. Your final 5-1.
One more time for the Trinity Seniors.
And one more time for the Trinity seniors,
Ethan Moore.
who got it done today. They've been getting it done for 4 years,
Diego Gonzalez.
so we're used to it.
Brady Johnston.
And we thank you for joining us. For myself, Ryan Figert, Josh Mux again, but getting it done in the control room, and assistant coach Michael LaHood joining us for a brief spell at the start of the half. It's been an enjoyable one for Trinity fans,
Silverstein. For Trinity.
and we hope there's a few more of these days to come in the season. They'll conclude the regular season schedule with a game at Shriner on Saturday at 2. So stay tuned for that one.
Assist to Fraser Burns.
For now,
Ken Agee.
if you enjoy your Friday night, I'm sure these Trinity fans will. Thank you.